Chief Minister of Rajasthan, Chief Minister Gehlot, will be casting his vote shortly. Can Congress break rotation jinx? Will women voters hold key? Will the 7 guarantees of Gehlot break what has been a swing state for the last 30 years? Lots at play. The battle of guarantees in Rajasthan at play as well. But these visuals coming in for our viewers where Ashok Gehlot going to cast his ballot. He is standing from Sardarpura, the Jodhpur district in Rajasthan. This has been an area which has been deeply polarized. If you remember, viewers, last year the riots took place here itself. But having said that, Ashok Gehlot, when we spoke to him last, extremely confident. He's hardly campaigned in his own seat this time. He's been crisscrossing across the state, campaigning for the Congress, and right now casting his vote where Sardarpura constituency in Jodhpur is concerned. These visuals coming in, it's a tough ask for Ashok Gehlot to break what has been a 3-decade jinx in the state of Rajasthan. On his account, Ashok Gehlot believes that he's given enough where Rajasthan is concerned, a slew of guarantees, a slew of stops, but these visuals right now coming in. Cutting across to my colleague, Devankur Vadavan, joining us live from Jodhpur, Sardarpura. Dev, will you take us through the latest? Ashok Gehlot, of most of the big wigs, the last to cast his ballot.
Well, Preeti, 9:30 was the official time when Ashok Gehlot, along with his family members, was supposed to cast his ballot. He's right now at his sister's residence. The hectic activity right now in Jodhpur behind me is taking place outside his sister's residence. His son, Vaibhav Gehlot, is speaking to media persons right now. 3-time Chief Minister of Rajasthan, a person who first fought his elections back in 1977. He lost that election, Preeti, the Sardarpura Assembly elections, by more than 4,000 votes. In 1980, he contested the Lok Sabha elections. That he won by more than 52,000 votes. He's someone who has time and again said that मैं मुख्यमंत्री नहीं बने रहना चाहता, पर मुख्यमंत्री की कुर्सी मुझे नहीं छोड़ रही है. Last 4 years has seen hectic activity, a lot of mudslinging also. Within the Congress itself, a lot of name-calling between Gehlot and Sachin Pilot, considered for a long time as his arch-rival within the Congress and his contender to the post of the Chief Minister. And you see out there, Preeti, Ashok Gehlot, the Rajasthan Chief Minister, along with his daughter, his son, Vaibhav Gehlot, his daughter-in-law as well out there. And this is something which clearly, a lot of nostalgia for the people on the ground in Jodhpur. People who have seen him grow out here in Sardarpura. This is the place, Preeti, where the Rajasthan Chief Minister was born. He has spent his childhood years in Sardarpura. And the Mahamandir constituency is the place, the polling booth where he will be casting his vote. These are hectic scenes out here. Ashok Gehlot time and again has said that it is his schemes, Preeti, which have worked on the ground. But in the last 20 years, Preeti, Rajasthan has not seen the incumbent government repeat itself. Whether history will repeat itself or the tradition will be broken is something which will be taken note of on December 3. But there are several independents also in the fray, Preeti, on both sides. People who have broken away from the BJP and from the Congress who are contesting this election. And on the ground, what is happening right now is that Ashok Gehlot is marching towards the polling booth. And you see several people accompanying him, people from his family. His son, Vaibhav Gehlot, is there. His daughter is there with him.
Right. So these visuals are filtering in. You see Ashok Gehlot there going towards his booth where he's going to cast his vote. Ashok Gehlot is standing from the Sardarpura constituency, assembly seat in Jodhpur district of Rajasthan. To give our viewers perspective, it's a tough ask where you look at history. There's a natural edge to the BJP in this election if you just go by, what history stands testimony for. Since 1993, the people of Rajasthan haven't quite voted an incumbent government. But Ashok Gehlot this time very confident. He feels that he's offered of the people enough to break this 30-year jinx. As per Ashok Gehlot, when we spoke to him last, which wasn't a while ago, quite recently, he's very clear that the 7 guarantees which the Congress offers will break through what the BJP has to offer. On ground as well, Ashok Gehlot is not unpopular, at least for most of us who saw him. Not much anti-incumbency against him, but against his MLAs definitely in pockets. But again, one can't stress on that question enough. Will he be able to break through what has been the pattern of a state, which has been a swing state? But having said that, Dave, I want to pull you back into the conversation again, because a lot went down in the dying hours of the campaign. Language change, we've seen a massive push of polarization where campaigning is concerned. We've seen bulldozers on ground where the BJP comes into question. In midst of, this deafening campaign, the last few days before the campaign ended, we saw the narrative also change, where you had the Prime Minister and other BJP leaders hoping to invoke Rajesh Pilot and Sachin Pilot to possibly break the caste polarization in favor of Congress, if at all that happens this time like it did in 2018.
Well, there are a lot of things when one compares to 2018. Ashok Gehlot was high on, conducting a campaign which was considered relatively more successful in Guwahati. Thereafter, he started his time towards Rajasthan. Sachin Pilot in Rajasthan, and several of the considered close to Ashok Gehlot, when they were denied tickets, chief, they decided to contest as independents. Sloganeering happening in favor of Ashok Gehlot. His home constituency, he's the sitting from Sardarpura, and you see his daughter, the man Ashok Gehlot himself, other members with the public out here, who's accompanying him, his father, the 72, and he's marching towards the Mahamandir polling booth. And this seems to have become a major public exercise by Ashok Gehlot. Every 5 years he arrives first at his sister's residence, and thereafter he moves towards the polling booth in Sardarpura, and now you see...
Right, there's a lot at stake, and you've been tracking his campaign in the state of Rajasthan. It's been a tumultuous, term for Ashok Gehlot, especially with what has gone down in his feud with Sachin Pilot. Where the High Command is concerned, there will be a lot of questions at the back of this campaign. He needs to win this election, Ashok Gehlot. Keeping in mind, he turned down the post of presidentship because he wanted to focus on Rajasthan, #1. Then what went down in a CLP meet, which was called by the party High Command, which many MLAs bucked, citing allegiance to Ashok Gehlot. So, there are multiple questions that were raised through the tenure of the Chief Minister of Rajasthan, and this election is extremely important for him. It's, a day of reckoning of sorts. What happens to Ashok Gehlot post the results in Rajasthan? If Rajasthan wins, he can, to a large extent, take credit for the Congress's win, where Rajasthan comes into question. And if there is a loss for the Congress, then in all probability, the brickbats will be stacked against Ashok Gehlot here. So this election, very, very important for Mr. Gehlot. He's 72. It's possibly one of his last elections, one would think of. The Congress is not fighting this election with the chief ministerial face. Ashok Gehlot, in an interview to us, also made it very clear that it is for the party High Command to decide on the Chief Minister's face after the results are out. But having said that, Dave, I want to bring you in just for a moment to reflect on the importance of this election. He's an old political warhorse. He's played on the side of the High Command, which many would deem unfavorable, with the High Command not left with many options. Many thought that as a strong regional satrap, he was arm twisting the High Command. A lot for Ashok Gehlot rides on this election, doesn't it?
Well, extremely wily politician, Preeti, is how I would like to put it. Ashok Gehlot has been, and this clearly is a litmus test for Gehlot. The manner in which he cocked a snook at the party high command on 25th of September last year, when there was an outside possibility that the chief minister could be replaced, that Sachin Pilot can become the chief minister of Rajasthan, and by some deft maneuvering, Preeti, that did not happen. The manner in which things panned out, the manner in which Gehlot loyalists, including the likes of Shanti Dhariwal, Mahesh Joshi, Dharmendra Rathore, engineered a coup, and Ashok Gehlot managed to remain the chief minister and the incumbent right now, meeting people out here in Jodhpur, moving towards his paternal house. He is right now outside his paternal house in Jodhpur, Sardarpura, Preeti. And you're quite right out there. The party high command, the often spoken about the party high command, whether it will be able to, have its will be adhered to or not is something which we can get to know after the results come out. But for the time being, Ashok Gehlot has managed to ensure that he successfully completed his term as the third chief minister of Rajasthan. And out here, what has been different, Preeti, also is the fact that Vasundhara Raje is no longer the BJP's official candidate for the post of the chief minister. I covered the elections in 2013 as well as in 2018. Both time round, Vasundhara was the official candidate of the party as its chief ministerial candidate. And if one calls the Congress a divided house, well, perhaps things are not much different or have not been much different in the BJP as well.
Well, you're right there. To a large extent, you're bang on where you suggest both sides. There's immense amount of factionalism which still persists under the charade of we are all together. But having said that, at least in the final leg or the final heat of the campaign, both political parties have tried to get the optics right. But has it been too late, especially for the Congress coming in together with Sachin Pilot, Ashok Gehlot? It was only yesterday, I would think, after years, one saw Ashok Gehlot share a video of Sachin Pilot appealing for votes. Not just that. Where Vasundhara Raje is concerned, those visuals, viewers that are coming to you on your television screen, you have Vasundhara Raje who cast her vote earlier, this morning. And Vasundhara Raje, without giving a single interview, she's been very quiet. Many thought she'd lost favor with the top brass of the BJP, but we was in the dying hours of this campaign. You saw her face back on the posters alongside JP Nadda and the Prime Minister, where the posters in Rajasthan were concerned. The last two rallies, or the second last rally that the Prime Minister addressed, he made a gesture on a stage where Vasundhara Raje was concerned, and a similar gesture could have been seen earlier on in other states, with possibly when UP was going to vote with Yogi Adityanath as well. So Vasundhara Raje climbing back where BJP is concerned as the most probable face for the chief minister, but that will depend on how the numbers are stacked on the 3rd of December. What's interesting to note, and what we are picking up, is that it could come down to be a game of independence. Why do we really say that, viewers? Is, Dave can also fill in on this, that what is being seen on ground, that loyalists of Vasundhara to the amount of 25 have been fielded or have fielded themselves as independents. They could practically hold the key if the BJP is close to the magic figure but yet a little far. And that would propel the path for Vasundhara Raje Scindia. Likewise, Ashok Gehlot, like what went down in 2018, this time as well, there are many who are standing as independents who seek affiliation or see affiliation to an Ashok Gehlot. Will that also help Ashok Gehlot if at all the time comes and it's a tough contest? That all aside, Dave, coming in for a quick question, ultimately it does seem, if it comes down to a tough fight, because Rajasthan, history stands testimony, even if you look at lots of data and polls, that very difficult to predict the Rajasthan election. And if it's close, this time around, this is a game for independence.
Well, quite clearly, Preeti, things as this are on grind right now, it's difficult to predict, but my sense is that independence can play a very crucial role. Imagine if both the BJP and the Congress get somewhere around 90 seats. That is a total of around 180 seats. So on the remaining 19 seats, if let's say a majority of the chunk goes to the independents, Ashok Gehlot is known to be a very deft mover, someone who can manage the show. And remember, both in 2008 and 2018, the Congress did not manage to get the majority mark on its own. In 2018, in fact, Preeti, the Congress got 99 seats, and later on one more seat was added during the by-poll election, which was held later on. So that is how it got 100 seats in an assembly of 200. So that was, right split down the middle. The majority is 101, but he managed to form the government with the help of breakaway MLAs from the Bahujan Samaj Party and the independents, who clearly mentioned that we will support a Congress government in Rajasthan only if Ashok Gehlot becomes the chief minister of the state. And that's how he has been a deft mover. So except for that time period, Preeti, somewhere around 2020, June or July, when Sachin Pilot and his band of rebel MLAs had moved away to Manesar or to Delhi, that was the unstable period in Gehlot government's tenure. That is when uncertainty had been there, and there was a no confidence vote that was called in by the BJP. Except for that, this government has been fairly stable. Ashok Gehlot has managed to, run his entire leg of the tenure. And, during the COVID pandemic, he really claims to have worked day in, day out, during the course of the night also sometimes round. And he time and again, Preeti, says that he is not after the chief minister chair. Mukhyamantri ki jo kursi hai, wo mujhe nahi chhod rahi hai, main to chhodna chahta hu. That is something which has been now become, a part of the rhetoric that Ashok Gehlot has indulged in. But right now, the scenes behind me, Preeti, hectic activity going in at his paternal house, the house where his parents had stayed for the longest time in Jodhpur. Once he comes out from here, along with his son, Vaibhav Gehlot, his daughter and his granddaughter, they will be moving towards the polling booth in Sardarpura to cast their ballot. And come December 3, we will be getting to know the results of this election.
All right.